What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. And today, this is pretty much like a Sunday vlog, as I'm going to be doing. Like I want to do this now, like especially like on Sundays, not to do any like race crazy stuff or any builds, just go over a specific topic that is being asked a lot and just have my explanation on that. If you guys like it, cool. If you don't, I don't know by like dislike ratio. So from here, today what we want to talk about is the Tahoe. And overall with the Tahoe is how much did we spend on turboing and exactly where the Tahoe is at, if you can see it way back there. But we're gonna go over the prices and everything that we spent on the Tahoe to get it to the point that it's at. So we know where the Tahoe is. It's pretty much a pretty quick truck. Okay, what's up? Good, let's go. Okay. 1, 2, 3. So we want to go over the pricing of how did we get it to this point and debate LS swap. Should we do LS swap, etc. So beforehand, just an update on everything. We got the turbo called 240. Mishimoto hit me up and got a lot of good parts for this thing coming in. So especially shout out to Mishimoto. I'm pretty much going to have this thing, especially the paint scheme on the 240 kind of stick it out just like this is, but with the Howard Performance, Mishimoto, all the good stuff on there. So pretty much going to be looking like the Honda back there. But for right now, I'm just waiting for those parts to come in. Then we'll be able to get another update video on this. Sooner or later, we're going to be throwing in the trans into the KAT 240. So this whole thing down here is going to be swapped in. So this is actually going to be our first manual car on the channel. So good luck with that. From there, pretty much we're wiring up the KAT. The harness is pretty much in. All this thing needs is just a fuel cell, and this thing will be able to just turn on and run. It's a running in. It's a very, very good motor. I know that the motor comes out of my green 240 and it's perfectly fine, so it doesn't smoke anything. So we're gonna have to tune on it and do things like that. But overall, pretty much gonna be easy swap. The crazy 600cc Death Trap ATV. It's moved over here. It runs. It drives. It's breaking up a little bit. It needs to be cleaned out. Usually if we don't drive it for more than 2 months, it starts to like, for some reason, something gets gummed up. I don't know if it's the fuel or whatever, and it just starts to act real crazy. So we haven't driven it since the last time you guys seen that video on YouTube, and especially I'm going to clip in some video right now of us running it just very, very recently. I believe it was yesterday. So especially with that, just know that every single time this thing sits for more than 2 months, it starts to act stupid. It's going to be back on the road, and we have some future plans for this thing, which is going to be pretty ridiculous. So I'm going to keep this under wraps until most likely next video you're going to see this thing. Outside of that, that's pretty much everything updated that we really have. I mean, there's really nothing on this big four-wheeler. This thing is just going to be something that we just kind of drive around and shit. I mean, do whatever we want. Do some, man, if you guys want to see some moto vlogs or some off-roading vlogs, just hit us in the comments. I mean, shit, we'll strap some GoPros to helmets and just go off-road parks and shit with the crazy ATV and this big one and do some stuff. You guys want to see that. So pretty much that's really everything about the project vehicles for now. But today's video is going to be about the Tahoe. So everything about the Tahoe, how much we spent on it, where it's at, future plans, etc. So hold on tight. So stage one for the Tahoe was getting it up and running and reliable and ready for boost. So that required us to get an Edelbrock Super Victor EFI intake, Edelbrock fuel rails, an Edelbrock 90 so it will be able to clear the hood, an LS2 102mm throttle body, fast 85-pound injectors, an AEM FIC8, which is a fuel ignition controller so we can control the ignition timing. Also, we can control the pulse width of the injectors, an MSD fuel pressure regulator, some Pro Max heads, ARP head bolts, and an LT4 hot cam spring and lifters and push rods. All this total to a sum of $3,790. Whew. Now, stage two was us getting the vehicle turbocharged. So to do that, we actually bought 2 PowerStroke 7.3 geared turbos. Also 2 scavenge pumps by SureFlow, some Flowtech headers, which are going to be long tubes because of this truck was actually rear mounted turbos, V-bands, turbo piping, an AEM wideband so we can actually see our AFRs, a boost gauge so we can see our boost pressure, and oil lines, fittings, and miscellaneous items. That all equaled $1,210, which pushed the overall cost to $4,990. In late 2017, this Tahoe stock transmission finally took a crap on us. So from there, we actually had to start the stage 3, which is going to be the built trans. So from there, we got the monster transmission 4060 rated at 650 horsepower. That was $1,520. The FTI 3800 stall, the Pro ratchet shifter, and ARP crank bolts, ARP torque converter bolts, and ARP flywheel bolts. All together, that cost us $2,350. The overall cost for the whole Tahoe modification was $7,380. Now, the big debate here is, should we have gone LS with the Tahoe? So this is pretty much what I'm talking about is like the cost efficiency in a sense of boosting this stock L31, putting all the boost stuff on there, getting it ready for boost, turbocharging it, etc., versus, for example, what everybody else does is taking the easier way, and the more smarter way, in my opinion, is to throw LS into it. Now, with us especially as well, us pitting a LS into this truck, in my opinion, wouldn't have been the best idea if we would have kept it NA. So if we would have did an NA LS build, let's say for example let's say the common LS NA build is a 6.0 iron block LQ9 high compression with some heads on it and with a cam, and let's say keep it at that. Now most likely that motor would make almost 500 horsepower, probably make like 430 440 wheel through a 4060 with a stall or something like that. Now overall the price of that to put that in this truck, then to convert everything over, converting the PCMs to getting a trans that's actually worth it, most likely we would have went with a 4080. We don't want to keep on blowing 4060s, so we probably would have went with a 4080. All this extra stuff, swap things, I mean there's a lot of stuff that you have to really pit into doing an LS swap, and at that time and point, especially when we first started the channel, we didn't have that expertise, and we didn't have the people above us to kind of guide us in that way. So kind of that was out of the question price wise as well, and you initially have to front that money to actually do the LS swap. Now the other side of things too is we raced a 408 stroker truck, which is basically a 6.0 heads cam on steroids, and as you saw in the previous video, you kind of saw the outcome of that. So us pitting a LS motor inside of this truck that's NA kind of doesn't make any sense, because we kind of would see that we raced a NA built called LS truck, and it was pretty much dead even. I mean, if Mike would have put the drag slicks on it, it probably would have been a dead even race. So that's kind of the whole thing about it. So us boosting this motor versus a NA LS swap, I would choose the boosted L31. Now if we wanted to do a boosted LS swap, it's pretty unanimous that yeah, we know that a boosted LS is going to be better than a boosted L31. So even coming into the TA, for example, the TA supposedly makes 400 wheel through this LS setup, 4060, etc. We raced that against the Tahoe. Tahoe supposedly makes 400 wheel on that dyno, and we kind of saw what happens. I pretty much got gapped. So NALS into this L30 versus this boosted L31, I take the boosted L31 versus a turbo LS versus boosted L31. I take the turbo LS any day of the week. But the fact is, the boosted LS will cost way more because we don't like to do things half-assed. We see with the 240 that even in my 4.8 especially engine itself, I have about 2,700 bucks into that with just ARP head studs, boost parts, boost cam, all the head work. I mean, so much stuff that I did just to make the thing boost ready was around 2,700 bucks, including the motor. As well, the trans, the Turbo 400, the best Turbo 400 that FTI makes outside of having a custom or a aftermarket case. And their stall that they have, that stall was 750 bucks itself. So I mean, I have $2,500 just in the transmission on the 240, and that's before all the turbo stuff and fuel system. So we kind of see that if I was to go turbo less, it will cost way more, maybe double the price. But is it going to be double the power? Pretty much. So a turbo less will be the best deal for this vehicle as it sits right now. We're going to do that in the future, but as it sits, the boosted L31 pretty much suffices all our needs for now. So once we come back from TX and whatever happens from there, we're going to kind of see that and maybe debate, do we want to do a turbo LS for that? We most likely are going to be building the motor on the side, have the turbo shit already ready, so once this motor takes a crap, then we just directly swap everything in and we're going to be back on the road within like a couple weeks to a month. We don't want to just take everything out and then start a boosted LS build and then take a long time from there. We're still going to video everything, but the fact is it's kind of pointless to take out a good motor that's still running and driving. That's kind of our whole logic behind it. But outside of that, that's pretty much my take on the whole LS versus L31 kind of debate deal as it sits. Pretty much nobody has boosted L31s and kind of documented it go heavily like we did. We kind of like the first people to do that. Outside of that, the only person that out there that really has done a lot of stuff with L31s has been Kevin Robinson. You guys know him as Honey Badger OBS. He's been a person that's been just, I mean, he pretty much put the L31 to the limits, and even at the limit, he's like, rather go LS. So that's pretty much what we're gonna end up doing in the future. But that's how it sits right now. That's kind of our take on everything. So pretty much that's our take on the whole turbo LS versus L31 big deal, the cost of the Tahoe, all that pretty much wrapped into one. YouTube revenue actually helped out a good amount with, especially with the Tahoe build. Not in the beginning, but once we started to grow the subscriber base and started to get a lot of views and stuff, then it started to kick in a little bit, especially for the trans swap. I mean, YouTube pretty much freight trained a lot of that. So shout out to you guys. I mean, now we're at like almost, I think we're past 18,000 subscribers now, which is crazy. I'm like, I just look at it and just seeing the stuff that we building. I mean, this doesn't deserve 20,000 subs, but shit, I mean, I'll take it. So shout out to you guys, always subbing, always showing good love for the channel. Pretty much, I mean, this is what we're gonna be doing for right now. So these are gonna be the project videos you're gonna be seeing over probably the next couple months. So everything in here outside the Tahoe. The TA, I wanna do something with that soon once this thing is done. I'm pretty much coming all out of pocket for this, the Turbo LS 240 build. That's kind of how it should be. I mean, shit, I mean, 99% of the people that build vehicles do not get paid to build their own vehicles. They build them out of pocket. So I mean, this is how it's supposed to be. Maybe once the channel grows, maybe I'll be able to freight train this build. Who knows? I mean, at this point, this is how it's supposed to be. So shit, Turbo's Garage, like, favorite, and subscribe. More videos. I like this type of Sunday type of thing. Just let me know if you guys like videos like this where I go more into like explanations about like small little things, topics and things like that. If you guys like it, cool. If you guys don't, tell me what I can improve on. It's all good. So hope you guys enjoy Turbo's Garage.